Hi, I'm Richard Van Utrecht, Master of the Order of the Pelican, and I've been asked to talk a little bit about stretching today. So, as it relates to fighting, as most of you know, ideally you want to be able to get your hand at a 90-degree angle so we can get that flat snap to get up on somebody's helmet. And in order to do that, you need to have flexible wrists and elbows. Just to give you a little background on me, I've been fighting for 15 years, although I had to stop due to other medical issues. But I've started teaching, and I was asked to talk about how I, as somebody who sits in front of a keyboard all day, keeps from having carpal tunnel as well. And about 5 years ago, I had terrible shoulder problems, and it all related to my flexibility. And I started doing some of these exercises to again, I learned them way back when I was in Aikido, back when I was 18 years old, and they are geared toward making the hands and wrists and elbows as flexible as they can be. First off, a little disclaimer, none of this is medical advice. This is just what I know. If you are in doubt, seek medical attention or medical professional's opinion first. And if not, then, I hope that everything that I've said here makes some sense. So, the first thing that we did in Aikido was to warm up the wrists and the elbows, and we did that with several stretches. First one is where you take palm out, grab the hand like so, pull it down toward you, arm straight. Elbow is straight but not overextended, just until you start feeling a nice stretch right here across the top of the thing. Another rule, if it hurts, stop. That's your body telling you that you are hurting it and you need to stop. If there is pain, you will feel sore the following day, which is normal because we're stretching muscles and a little bit of tendons. I've heard people say, well, you need to stretch the ligaments. No, that's bad. At least in my experience. The stretched ligament means that the ligament holds things together, and a stretched ligament means they can do this kind of thing and they can tear, and a very expensive bill comes along. Most of the time your muscles are tight because they're in one position and that's what they're holding. So what we're going to do is stretch those out in a gentle way over time. So the first one, again, hold it out until you feel a nice stretch along here. Hold that for anywhere from 10-15 seconds. You should feel a stretch, and it should come to almost a 90, even past a 90 degree. I'm a little stiff today. And then relax, shake it out, do the other hand. Number two, and this is the one where most people don't get it right, and that's you take your hand, you're going to grasp the hand, thumb on top of the thumb, and you're just going to push down gently until you feel a stretch right across here. Why is this important to get to this? Everything has a sympathetic way of doing things in the body, and this is another way. And if you get jammed, that's another way you can tear things along here. This actually stretches along here as well. This stretch mainly focuses on this. This stretch starts to work up in here a little bit, but we'll stretch this one here in a little bit. So again, do that one, hold it for a little bit, shake it out, 10 to 15 seconds. You don't need much. Do the other side. Shake it out. Third stretch. Put the hand in front of you, reach around, grab the thumb with the base of the 3 fingers, put your other thumb between your ring finger and your pinky, hold it in front of you like so, and just twist away. And you will feel a stretch all along here. This, again, is what allows us to get these other rotational things to work a little bit better. And do that on the other side. To get the opposite of it, put your hand in front of you, thumb down, grab the hand like so, thumb across base of the fingers again, and just pull it toward you. And you switch. Okay, shake it out. Another stretch I started doing when I started having these issues was you take, take a step back here, take your hand, they call them under arrests. You put your hand behind your head or behind your back, gently pull down and lean away, and you will feel a stretch all along here. And that's, you'd be amazed at how much the neck muscles, these neck muscles up here on the top of your neck, affect your arm. I found this out to my detriment because I was incredibly tight through the top here because I'm sitting in front of a keyboard all day hunched up like this. Well, eventually the body says, I've had enough. And that's what happened to me. So that one, that's a good one to do. Do that one, and then you just switch. Nice long stretch along that neck. Another stretch, let's see if we can show it here. So you grab a hold of a pole, a pole here. There we go. In your basement, right up along the length of the thing, and you will feel this through the top of the trap in the lap, along the back there. That does a great job of stretching that out. Do both sides. I've seen some people do this stretch. I'm not a fan, and I'm going to tell you why. A, it binds you up. It really doesn't stretch anything across the top there. It's a very limited stretch. It doesn't do a lot, at least for me. If it works for you, God bless you, move on. So let's sum up what we got so far. And we want to be able to stretch the hands and elbow. This stretch here stretches out the arm and the elbow, but mostly the forearm. This stretch comes across here. This stretch kind of torques it that way. This stretch goes the other way. And then we do the under arrests, where you just nice gentle stretch on the neck, both sides, and then grab a wall. And just when you do those, you want to just sit your weight back and let your weight pull you along your spine. Your arm should be in line along the same plane as your spine. So there's three keys to doing stretching. First one is consistency, doing it, being consistent. Doing it. You could do this every day, no more than twice a day. What we're trying to do is elongate those muscles, and what that will do is allow us to get into that nice position that we want when we do that flat snap. Number two is time under tension, and that's just, they've used that term on weightlifting, and that's basically you're training your muscles to be longer. So no bouncing, because that's how you get injured. Injuries happen because of stressing and shock to the system, and it says, I've had enough. And that's when you get tendonitis. So consistency, doing it every day for, it doesn't take very long. You saw the length of this video. It only takes a few minutes to do those stretches. So do those, just those 4 every day, twice a day. Once when you get up, maybe once right after dinner, when you're digesting the fabulous meal that you've prepared. Number 2 is knowing your body and knowing when you've gone too far or where you've not gone enough. You should feel a nice gentle pull. Pain is the enemy. This is not training. We're not working we're not expanding our work capacity. We're expanding our base level flexibility, and you cannot do that and cause damage to the tissue, because what will happen is now you're going to get into a tendonitis situation, and you're going to be on the bench for a long time, icing and resting it. That does you no good. That kind of defeats the purpose. And the third thing is making sure that you are doing it correctly. Making sure that you feel that, okay, when I'm stretching this way, I should feel it here. When I'm stretching these out here, I should feel it here. Make sure you're doing the correct technique. You should feel some kind of stress, which is not a great word, but you should feel a little bit of a pull no matter what you're doing, because you're trying to make the muscles longer. And that's why we can't get our full range of motion. It's not because the joint is tight, it's because everything that's connected to it is tight. And that's what we're trying to undo, is getting those muscles to loosen up, to get longer, and become more resilient, and allow us to get into that nice position that we want. So that's all I had. Thank you again for watching. Hopefully I'll do a few more of these, and we'll see you on the list field.